Welcome everybody to the Rally Cry podcast. My name is Angel.
My name is Tyler.
And you guys are here because you want to grow, you want to heal, you want to move on from the past because that's holding you back, and we're not going to do that. Bars! And I just want to let you guys know, if you are not following us on your favorite podcast platform, please do so. You can watch us on YouTube as well. You can follow us on Instagram at The Rally Cry podcast, so you can watch all our clips, getting straight to the point. And today is a very important topic. If you guys already seen it already, we're going to be talking about how modern dating now in 2023 and just going on forward, why is it so hard to find the one? Why is it so hard to just be dating in the first place? Because dating is the first step of getting to know someone, knowing if you want to be with them, et cetera, et cetera. What are their intentions? So we're going to talk about 4 things that we could talk about what makes it so hard, because there's so many other things because of the way people's cultures and et cetera, but we're not going to get into that. We're just going to talk about the top 4 things that me and Tyler were talking about, and we want to talk about it with you guys. So first one is knowing what you want in a relationship. Why do you want to know what you want in a relationship? Like, shouldn't you be like, oh, I already know what I want? Oh, okay, yeah. Is that even true? Is that even realistic?
You can know what you want, but then it's like, what if there's so many choices? Like I have to gather all the information that I could get, and with all these choices, like you go to Burger King or you go to McDonald's, you look at the menu, you have all these options. But then if we're gonna think about it efficiently, let's think about it from a chef, because our taste is immaculate, right? So Gordon Ramsay, make an example, he will prefer a restaurant to have a short menu. And there's a reason. So then that way your mind doesn't get lost, and you don't just spend most of your time looking and acknowledging. You just want to be, all right, let me get straight to the point. Let's get straight to the nitty and gritty, as Angel says it. So when we don't know what we want, and then we got all these different titles. I mean, Angel, name some titles. I'm pretty sure. What titles do you think that comes to mind when it comes to these relationships?
So a lot of times we wonder, okay, are we looking for a long-term relationship? Is the more sustainable one? That's the typical one, right? But then there's other ones that we heard before, like one night stand, friend with benefits, or sneaky link.
Sneaky link.
You can have all those options. Okay, cool. You can figure out what you want. But knowing what you want is important, because you don't want to be wasting your time with people that are not in the same bandwidth of what your intentions are. They could be having a different intention than you, and now you're wasting your time, and that's what makes it hard, because we're not making that communication about what we want. We kind of just sit here and assume it's like, oh, you want to be with me for the rest of your life, and it's like, no, I don't. And it's like, oh, okay. Or vice versa, whoever it is, it's just one person is never on the same page most of the times, especially when it comes into the pool of dating. You're swimming and you try to get to the end of it, and then you get tired and you get to this end and you're like, oh, I think I'm good over here. And then this is the person that you don't even want to be with because of all the things that you found out about them, or they found out about you, and y'all not having that good chemistry, and now you just wasted your time. So now that's the first part. And then talking about what Tyler was saying, is just the choices. We don't want to have a full menu of a whole bunch of things and contemplating which one is the right one, which one's going to fill me, which one's going to satisfy me, which one is going to help me through my life, not through the night, through my life.
And because that speaks to a lot that Angel's saying, and I apologize for interrupting. It speaks to what Angel's saying, because when we think about all these choices, we have to think about how we're settling for less, because we have to compromise the things that we're saying yes to and the things we're saying no to. So if we want something for a short time, and we're looking in the wrong place, thinking, okay, so this guy, I know for a fact that he probably is not going to respect me, or this girl probably has a better communication to the people that she wants to talk to. Does she want to talk to me? Look at how many times I've been hitting her up trying to get to know her, and still no response at all. So being that we have all these choices, we're saying, I want something that's gonna fill me for right now, because I can't have what I really want. And knowing that there's different things in life that takes hard work, and it takes some thinking. You got to go back to the drawing board and see what you have to do. And at the end of the day, that's self-love, baby. You got to have self-love for yourself, so you can surround yourself with the people that you want to be around, and stop convincing yourself of things that will be good for now, because you know that long term they don't have any duration. You know they have no point in your life where they're going to be here by next year. So why are you foolishly making this relationship into something, leading this person on? Now here you are doing, you're just as bad as they are. So to some extent, because they know that this probably wasn't a good choice for themselves either, you knew that wasn't a good choice. So now look at you both lying to each other, thinking that, yeah, we could make this work. It doesn't work like that.
And I think there's people that could be listening and say, "Oh, well, if there's more options, doesn't that make it easier for me to probably find the one for me?" And it's like, okay, you could think of it that way. However, there's always a good side and there's always a bad side. The good side is like, yeah, you're right. You probably got more options, and then with these options, one of them could be better than the other options, right?
Mm-hmm.
But also, you could be thinking about it so much, you overthink it, and then you'd be like, "Oh, this person is better because they look better and they have all these attributes and oh yeah they make me laugh and all these things you want to tell yourself and justify it, and then you be going for that, and then you be
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, my bad, I guess the grass isn't greener on the other side. And back then in the 80s 90s, however, right, it was more of like you just had to go outside and be more social, and then that's how you meet a person. But now with social
Mm-hmm.
media and all these apps, it makes it a lot harder. And you don't want to have so many options. You already know when you go on a test and when you have a true or false answer, you're like, yes, I'm gonna get this right. It's only a 50-50 bet. But when you have a multiple choice where there's four answers and or more, you're like, damn, I feel like I'm far away from the answer. So it's just to be mindful. That's what makes dating a lot more harder, because for us guys, right, there's women that now have social media, and we're competing against all these guys across the world, because there's a guy from Africa, there's a guy from New Zealand, we got a guy from
Mm.
Canada, we got a guy from California, Florida, Miami, and I'm over
Mm.
here in Massachusetts, or Tyler is over here in Texas, or whatever the case may be, wherever you're at, and you're competing against the whole world. It's like literally me against the whole world.
Social media. So is it social media toxicity or is it toxic masculinity? Like what
Mm.
is it? Because there's so many guys on Earth, and
That's a good question.
as much as we hear, oh, men can't do nothing right, or men
Mm.
ain't worth nothing, then it's like, okay, so there's men all over the earth, and as much as there is, you're trying to say that we're all bad? Because I'm pretty sure that there's guys that are inventing stuff, that are saving lives, that are doing something that's productive and something that's proactive towards life and that's
Right.
beneficial towards theirs. So
Yep.
it's kind of funny how the illusion could be created like that, and then everybody just believes it instead of asking a question like, what makes this true?
Yeah, I think people will still do the judge a books by a cover. And
Mm,
if we're talking about how it is us for us guys, because when it comes to dating, it's more first the girl saying yes, to be honest.
mm,
Like we could do the approaching and all that. That's the hard work that we do. Their hard work is just saying yes or no. It's just like, oh no, I'm good, or they make up a lie. We already know that. We don't need to sit here and just sugarcoat anything, because women know what they're doing. They have strategic cues that they give for themselves of picking the guy that they want, right?
mm-hmm,
And it's all about status. So you could have a guy that's 9 to 5 doing what he got to do, everything proactive, like you mentioned. But with so many options, she don't know which one to choose from. And honestly, let's just sit here and say it's already it's fair enough to say most women don't know even how to choose. How many times have you talk to a girl and be like, oh, what you want to eat? And you be like, oh yeah, I want McDonald's. And I was like, all right, better get McDonald's. And no, you never mind. I'm not really feeling it. Just get whatever you want. I was like, oh yeah, I'm feeling Chick-fil-A. Oh no, I don't want Chick-fil-A. You just said I could get whatever I want and you was cool with it. Now you're telling me no. Like, make up your mind. So it's just like they be talking themselves out of certain things. So how the thing is that as a man, you need to be the one to lead, right?
mm-hmm.
So when you're able to lead, that's what makes it easier. But when there's so many options, that's what makes it harder.
And you know what? And speaking of that, that's why it leads to, when you can't lead, it leads to the pressure that you have to face, and the pressure that
Mm-hmm.
comes with doing hard things, and knowing that all of that stuff takes so much energy and time out of you. You have to understand that sometimes pressure could be too much for you, and that's why we're here to say that you don't feed into pressure. You don't give into peer pressure, thinking that you have to do this just because somebody else wants this. You know, what do you want at the end of the day? And one survey found that 57% of women and 35% of men have experienced some kind of harassment when dating. So
Mm-hmm.
even though you want to go through with this, you want to go through with the day and see them again, or make the move and kiss them, or make them, or show them that, oh, you're husband material, or you're boyfriend material, or you're just trying to get into some pants. That's not the case, because if you can't read the room, and like Angel said, women are more adept at reading the room. They're a lot quicker at that. So if
Yep.
you can't read the room and notice the body language that you're making her uncomfortable, or some jokes or some conversations aren't really landing right, you have to be able to shift in that moment to make her comfortable, and not even to get what you want, but just at the end of the day for the experience of the date to follow through, at least, because she's already there. Now if you follow through and harass her even further than that, after that then she's gonna ghost you, then she's not gonna want to talk to you, and then you're gonna be labeled as the guy that can't even be around a girl.
Yeah, I agree. I think, there's so much pressure in dating. And then that's when all this pressure, they don't know what to do. So they kind of get their minds all like all over the place. Oh, what do I
Mm-hmm.
do? Or what do I do? This is coming from guys, right? This is more how guys think, because there's guys out here that don't know how to make conversation with women or how to talk to women, how to treat women, and that's fine. There's always it's kind of a skill. It's a thing that you teach yourself. It's called having manners and being decent and being a gentleman and all those things. However, is the fact that you don't want to pressure them so much to a point where it is a harassment, and you need to be able to
Mm.
read the room just like women do. And the reason why is because it makes it even harder, because you ruin it for the next person. You ruin it for the next person. The bad guys out here are ruining it for the good guys. Hey, it's whatever, but it's just a matter of fact that what happens that with people's experiences, they justify that experience, but oh, all guys are the same, or all women are the same, and oh, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to date anymore because everybody is just in this kind of mindset. And it's okay, we can say that majority of people have a certain mindset when it comes to dating or what their intentions are and etc., but you can't justify that, the fact that it's like that. When you assume the worst, you get the worst. If you assume the best, you get the best. So
Mm-hmm.
don't assume that everything's going to be wrong for you, because then you're going to attract the wrong people. So that's going into the fact that after with pressure and harassment, that's number two. Number three, we're going into how people ghost one another. How many times have you had a conversation with a woman, or even if it's the other way around, you're a woman and you had a conversation with a guy, because I'm pretty sure that happened too, and the conversation is good, we chilling, we vibing, I'm feeling it, I like the energy,
Ooh,
and then for
spicy.
some reason, yup, for some reason, they just stop texting back or anything. It's not to be entitled. It's not to have expectation. It's the standard of having a regular conversation. And we know when a conversation is done and over with, but it's just midway. And it's just, oh, okay. And then they're watching your story. It's just like, why are you being weird? Like, at least finish the conversation. We don't have to keep talking for decades and days after, but it's just like, at least finish what we were talking about. Jeez, why are you being a little weird?
And as Angel says that, we got to think about how we just finished talking about pressure and harassment, and it's almost, when you put those two words together, it's almost like a cycle. Because of the pressure, people put on this persona. They self sabotage themselves, giving off this impression that they're this, and that's not the case. And now harassment comes along the way because of that bad experience. Now people are putting that bad experience onto others, and then giving others a bad experience. So now
Mm,
this becomes trauma. So with that pressure and somebody not being able to approach that pressure with enough clarity, now it gives this person some form of toxin, some form of sickness. Like, I don't feel good. Like, this made me feel bad. So now, like, if I go through this again, now they're already trying to protect themselves because of this bad experience, which
mm,
makes them more prone to ghosting you. Because
mm,
the reason why somebody ghosts you is because or to some extent, you may have triggered them, said something that didn't sit right with them. Maybe you have said something that was a bit offensive, and nowadays with some conversations aren't ready to be had yet. So now being able to assess this situation, like, is this a person that I can have any kind of conversation with? Or while I'm getting to know them, should I ease up on the things that I like to do? Because not everybody's ready for what you may interest in, or what they may interest in. So we have to be mindful of, like, we can't justify ghosting, but we also can't say that, maybe I deserve to be ghosted either. So
right.
ghosting isn't a good thing, and ghosting is toxic. It's a way to
Yeah.
manipulate a situation.
Yep.
It's a way
Get
to
power.
get power. Oh, Angel, I'm sure that you could say that, like, even having conversations, or even how it could enlight a flame in you. It could trigger an emotion, because you're like, why did they
Yep.
ghost me for? You know?
Right. And it's also to say that people do it in a way where if someone's misbehaving,
Mm.
it's a tactic to okay, it's not ghosting them, but it's giving that space where it's, oh, I'm not gonna text back for a little bit because I want them to miss me, and that's cool and all, but it's not really sustainable, especially for the person that has the right emotional intelligence. If they're able to emotionally regulate their emotions, they're able to take you out the door too with no problem. They'd be like, okay, you know what, you can buy. See you later. I wanted to mention with the ghosting part, Dr. Terrell, a licensed clinical psychologist, listen to this. He mentions
Mm.
that people that ghost are too afraid or too rude to address their feelings in any way. It's best to reframe the situation and move forward, baby.
Oh yeah, move on, please move on.
Just
That's
go,
too
just
much.
leave. You too much energy, you don't need that. What happens is that when people goes, it's not living up to the dating profile, so it's not what they envision. What, oh, you don't got curly hair, nah, I don't want to talk to you. You know, we were having a good conversation, but since you don't got curly hair, goodbye. Or you're not 6 feet,
Ooh,
goodbye. Or she doesn't have curly eyes, goodbye. Or
Eh,
she's not fit enough, goodbye. Or she doesn't go to the
guys.
gym, he
Oh,
doesn't go to the gym, goodbye. Or he doesn't play basketball, goodbye. Or he doesn't make music, whatever it is that people
and
have expectations on. People be crazy with these expectations, and that's when it leads into number 4. Number 4 is personal and societal expectation. They both go hand in hand, and we're going to talk about it. Listen, if you guys have been sticking along this whole time listening to us, we appreciate you, and just make sure you do a
oh
it's
wow.
not working.
Oh,
No,
oh.
wait. There we go. There we go. We heard
Hey.
that. Okay. That was okay, that worked. So, number 4, right? When it comes to dating, we expect that when we come out our house, it's almost like what they do in movies. We're gonna find the one for us. We're gonna have the
Mm.
music playing in the background, not even knowing where it's coming from. We're like, I don't know where's this music coming from, but I'm feeling it right now, and I'm feeling you. And this person is
Ooh.
from a distance, and it's like, oh, I think that's the person for me, or I think I want to marry this person for the rest of my life and spend my life with them and give them my babies and stuff. Whatever it is that you be giving yourself, it's just the over exaggerated aspect of thinking that you think you're just gonna go outside and find that person. When it comes to friendships, though, you don't go outside thinking that you're gonna go find a friend. I mean, hey, if you do, shout outs to you, because that means you want to first have them as a friend first, and then
Mm.
your partner, because you don't want to be in relationships with strangers, right? However, why when it comes to friendships and relationships, when we're having the intentions of either or, they're different? Why do we rush romance?
See, I think we rush romance because we want it to be perfect, right? And
Mm,
the thing about being perfect is the fact that everything
good one.
hits immediately. Everything hits
Mm-hmm.
immediately,
That
and
dopamine hit.
nothing exactly. And here's the thing: we got quotes and sayings like Rome wasn't built in a day. So
Mm,
if Rome wasn't built in a day, and we see how beautiful Rome is, why is love expected to work immediately right away and then that's it, all right, we're getting married by next week? And how movies make it seem that romance works like that, where we end up staring at each other, we lock eyes real quick, and instead of it being like a quick 2-3 seconds, you got the music playing, you got birds flying, you got the fan blowing your hair and everything, like for
right?
20 already 20 seconds went by and nobody nothing has still been said. So it's like we think that with this mind game manipulation that not only society puts on us, but also what we put on ourselves, because we convince ourselves that it's going to work out and this is going to be my one, and we set these expectations only to be let down, where we should be going with the go with the ocean, go with the motion. And when we go with the motion, we can assess, analyze, and we could really think, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I could take from this experience. This date, it was cool and all. I could see that some conversations were a bit awkward, but then we were able to pick it up after, and then things started really flowing after that because we had to break down some walls, obviously, because we are meeting for the first time. So
Right.
being that meeting each other, meeting people, whether it's making friends or relationships, things start with something. There's less room for error with romantics. When it comes to friends, we give them chances, and that's why we take our time with it, because we know that we're getting to know them and we want to know for the long haul, can they be here and how well do they do in critical situations. And that's the difference with love. It's like, if you
Right.
get this right now and you got it, but then if you mess
Mm.
up while we're in love, damn, I don't know what to do. Like, do I stop talking to you? Do I keep giving you chances? Like, then you seem confused because you rushed into it.
Right. And what happens too when we lock eyes with someone that we're attracted with, because that's usually what grabs our attention, we have this two chemicals going on in our brain. So we have cortisol and then we have serotonin.
Mm,
And both of them is where like you're stressed and happy at the same time. Because then if it's you're a guy and you go up to a girl and you want to make the approach, you're stressed out, but then you're excited. And or if it's the other way around and you're being approached, it's the same thing. And so with so many things going on in your mind, you don't even know what to do, and you don't know what is right. And that's why it's important, like Tyler was mentioning, you got to reflect the whole situation and not have expectations that things are going to be perfect a certain way. Sometimes it could be so imperfect. It's something that you could talk about later on if this is a person that you end up being in a relationship with him. Like, oh, remember when I messed this up? And was like, yeah, you were so dumb. It's just something. See, it's even funny to even make that up. It's just funny. And I think that we want this person to be so perfect that they have to be exactly what we imagine, but things always happen better than you could ever imagine. Don't settle for what you envision for yourself. Envision it, that's cool, and then be like, okay, I would love to have this or better. Because if you just limit yourself, then you're never going to find what you want, because you're so specific. And love is like a wall of art. Like, there's so many ways that it could be drawn in so many colors. It could be big, it could be small. It's just so many designs, so many patterns, so many details. And like Tyler said, Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to take your time. There's so many fine details in it, and that's what makes it historic. So if you're gonna try to get into a relationship, make it historic. Find those finer details and take your time, and not always think that just because you are trying to take them serious, you don't need to take everything else so serious. You know what I mean? Yes, it's take them serious, but you don't need to hold them against everything and have grudges because, oh, the person that loves me or the person that I'm going to be with wouldn't do this to me. Well, this person's different. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe you need to communicate. Did you communicate? And if you didn't, well, maybe you should.
Yeah, and look, as great as that sounds, once again, it's not that we're contradicting the entire aspect. It's okay to have standards. It's okay to set some
Yep.
form of expectation, but it's the idea that you have to communicate that, and also who are you surrounding yourself by? Because if it's somebody that maybe isn't your that doesn't fit your standards, but then you still follow through with the second date after that, know that they didn't fit your standards, you can't sit here and say that like why is this happening to me? Like, no, you got enough information from that first date, and being able to assess that information, and also once again clarify that this is what you're looking for. We're not here to make somebody think and wonder, playing these mind games like, oh, okay, maybe I just need a friend. Okay, maybe they're cool with just being friends with benefits because I'm not looking to settle down. Oh, why wouldn't they want to be in a relationship with me? I'm a good guy. I've held it down before, so why not a serious relationship? No, if you make it clear about what you want, it's cool, they can understand, and then hey, still something can flourish from that because both parties got to express what their true intentions are. But don't be toxic. Don't go out
Don't
here
be
for feeling or
toxic.
anything like that.
Right.
Toxic things do not
Mm.
last, and it's only convincing yourself that this is okay. It works out. Why? Because I'm getting what I want. But just because you're getting what you want doesn't mean you're getting what you deserve either.
Mm. Hold up. You hear that? That was you could get everything that you want, but you don't always get what you deserve if you always be toxic. You being toxic, you
Mm-hmm.
getting it, but you're not getting what you deserve. You deserve better. If you guys are
Mm-hmm.
listening, you deserve better. So know what you want in a relationship. Don't pressure and harass anyone. Don't ghost anyone, and don't heal before you go back into the dating pool, because it's hard out there. It's hard being single. It's realistically true, and it's also hard being in a relationship. So if you do get into a relationship, don't have those expectations, because that just would make dating a lot harder. Those are the 4 things, guys. We really appreciate you. I want to do one thing though, and it's a review. We're going to call it a rally review. And this one is from Isaiah on Instagram. His username is ivory_Isaiah.s. And he says, "Thank you for teaching me about anti-mattering. I have been feeling that, but I feel like I can make better changes to my feelings." And we really want to shout out to Isaiah, because, it's always about reflecting about your feelings, and then what can you do better for next time? And it's always going to be a trial and error. That next time is not always going to be 100%, but maybe a little bit better than the last time or that first time. So we appreciate you. If you guys want to leave a comment, if you want to leave a review, you could do that on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you're watching this. Leave us just so we can know we're doing something good, because that really does help. And we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. This was an awesome episode. Until next time, y'all be easy.
Don't be toxic. Y'all be
Don't be
breezy.
toxic. Be breezy. Peace. See ya.